Hello guys and welcome back to SMSOFTWARE JavaScript Crash Course 2025 for totally beginners. JavaScript is the world's most popular programming language, and it is used by millions of developers to build dynamic websites, web apps, gaming, and more. Whether you are completely new to coding or looking to sharpen your skills, JavaScript is the perfect. Why learn JavaScript? It powers almost every modern website, works with the HTML, CSS to create interactive experiences. It is in high demand for web development jobs. Easy to get started, no installation required, just your browser. What you learn in this course, JavaScript basics, variables, data types, operators, etc. Function, loops, array, object, DOM manipulation, real world practice project. This course takes you from zero to confident beginner. So by the end of this tutorial, you will be writing and understanding JavaScript code, ready to build interactive websites and apps. Right, so let's jump in and start learning. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like our video. My name is Shaban Musomba, and let's get started. All right, guys, so I am on window. You can still follow along even on Mac, doesn't matter. So to write JavaScript or to learn JavaScript, so there is many way you can write JavaScript code. One and quick way, the first way we can try is going to our Chrome or any browser. So in this particular way, we are going to use Chrome. So you can right click on your uh, right click to open this inspect, or you can also go to options and more tools, and you got here developer tools. So I can open this one. So I can ask the browser or console log a message to look at just a message. I can do console.log log hello world, and close again the parenthesis. So if I press enter, you will see the messages here. Okay, so this is one way, but the thing is you can write everything here, but once you reload the browser, you reload, everything is gone again. So there's nothing here left. So the better way to do it, you can write this directly in your code editor. So there is VS Code. You can use VS Code. VS Code. I have a video on how to install VS Code. So if you don't have it ready, don't have it yet installed in your computer, you can go ahead and watch that, or just install it from here. It's not complicated to install. All right. So I assume you have VS Code, and we can just move forward. All right, so I have my VS Code open. So if you don't have it, you can please go ahead and open your VS Code. Yeah? All right, so what you can do is we can actually create a file just here, create a file in here, a folder actually called JS, short for JavaScript, crash course. So we want to open this with the VS Code. Okay. All right, so here we can now write our JavaScript here. So what we want to do is, since since we know that JavaScript is a browser language, it can also be is also used on the server side, but in this course we want to focus on the browser side. Yeah. So to do it, we want to print our JavaScript in our browser. So to do that, so we must use index. Sorry, we use HTML. So we can do index.html. So this will help us to run our JavaScript code through the browser, from the browser. So I can do generate HTML 5 skeleton, and then here I can just say JavaScript course like this. So how we can write JavaScript within HTML from HTML? So you can write JavaScript from within the head, or you can also write JavaScript within the body here. So to write JavaScript inside HTML, so you must tell HTML that this is you must tell the browser that this is a JavaScript. This is JavaScript. So to do that, we can do script this way, and we just close the tag. Right. So to test now, we can do console.log hello world, and I save it. So we want to run this file, yeah, this app. So to do it, we can go back to our desktop. So I can just open it. This is one way to do it. So I can open this with the browser. Now we can see that this is our HTML file. There's nothing in the body. So if I can go to developer mode, developer tool, open developer tool. So we can go to more options and developer tool like this. All right. So the message is there. The message is there again. All right. We need to close one like this. All right. Okay, so this is how we can also write the JavaScript. So we can also write anything you write here, it should appear on the browser. Okay, so what we want to see, first of all, we want to see the data type. So we talked about the data type. So we said that we are going to see data type. So we got eight types of the data type of the data types in JavaScript. So we got string. I can just uh, give you a list. So we got string, we got numbers, we got a big integer, and the boolean, nil. We got also undefined symbol and object. Or also we got also array. Yeah? Okay. So we can start. I can actually give you a list here. So data type. See if this data types. So this is a crash course. So we crash course. So we are going to see. We are going to just writing things all over. So to just make sure that at least we get something. Yeah. So we have string, number. Let's see, boolean, and define, nil, symbol, big integer, object, function. So it's showing you 9. So there's a different way. Some people that tell you is just some people can tell you it's just a string, number, boolean, nil, and define object and array. So some they can tell you is 9 or 8. So it doesn't matter. So you just need to know what is essentially here. So we got string, we got number, we got boolean, and define nil or nilable, symbol, big integer, object, and function. But this could be array. So it's depend how you want to show that. So okay, you also got that. You also have that. If you open here, so you also got that, but these are not counting. So I don't want to confuse you with this. I don't want to confuse you with that, with all of this one. All right, so we want to now to see some of these data types, which is the common user. They're all been used, but I want to show you some of that. Let's start with the string first. So we can let's create a string. We can to create string or to use data type. To use string data type, so we can do var name is equal to John Doe like this. So the same message, the same way we did the console log. So we can also ask browser to print that message by doing console.log name. So we just want to output this, the name. So if I save this, another way I want to do it is I can save and resize this editor so that we can see, you can see the browser. I also resize this one. Okay, and here, like this one. Okay, and also this one. So this is enough. Okay, so if I save this and I go back to the browser, I reload, you see now we get John Doe here. So this is it for, this is for string. So for Boolean, we can also, or Boolean or number, we can do console dot, we can declare also number, we can do var age, let's say 30, and console.log the age. So if I save that in the reload the browser, you see that you get the 30 here. You can also declare, that was the number. You can also declare a Boolean. It's a Boolean. Sorry, this is supposed to be number so that you can see number. Let's say Boolean. So for Boolean, okay, for Boolean, you can do const or var is old is equal to true. Okay, so if I print is old here and reload, you see that is old is equal to true. We can also print is not old. You can also print here var is young is equal to false. If you print here, reload, you see that is young is equal to false. So this is still data type. So this is the data type. So this is Boolean. So we can also declare nullable or undefined. So let's take undefined. Var x is equal to we can declare a variable. So can declare a variable var x, and we can console.log x. So output is empty, is undefined. There's nothing there. So if we output, there's nothing, is undefined. So we can also have this nil. So we can also do var y is equal to nil. So if you print out, it will show you nil. So nil means that there's nothing. So we also have this symbol. We can also print var symbol symbol is equal to a symbol. You pass in unique. So if you also console.log symbol, so which will output my symbol. Let's see. If you output, you'll see that you get my symbol. So we also have, we got a big integer, which is a biggest number. So we can give this number big integer. So we can console.log. Let's see. So we can console.log big number. So output will show you that big number, this big number like this. So we also have object. So for object, you can also declare person. For example, var a person is equal to. So that's how we declare object. So open curly bracket and close the curly bracket. So we give the name, we set the name, the keys. So we set a key and we give the variable key and give the variable. So key name and we give the variable, which is a John Doe, and the age, which is 30, is older, we set to true. So we want to console.log this one, console.log that. So we'll print, it will output this. So if I print this, this is what we're going to get. Well, so we got also scroll down, scroll up a little bit. We got also array. So we can also declare var numbers. You can select. We can create, open the square bracket. You put, for example, you can put, let's put any number, any random number. So output, um, console.log again. If you reload, you'll see that you get that number here. Because we also got the function. Also, you can declare a function. So function you can declare, let's say for example 10, but we don't want to talk about this. The function, you're not going to consider this here. But I just want to limit here, so we don't want to give you so much for now. All right, so this is it for the data type. But I think you meant ask yourself about the var, whatever, um, variable declaration. So we will get back to variable declaration. So the first thing was just to explain to you about the data type or data types we have. So we have seen the data types. So we can now at least talk about how to declare a variable. What is the way to declare a variable? All of that. All right. So this was it for the data types. Okay, let's go for variables. All right. So next, let's talk about variable. What is a JavaScript variable? So a variable in JavaScript is like a container that stores data. So you can use a variable to store numbers, text, string, booleans, object, and more. So you can store anything. This data types, the one you saw in your previous episode. So how do you declare a variable? Um, so there is many way to declare a variable. So for modern and prefer for variable that meant change. So we have the first of all we have some variable doesn't change. Can show you here. We have this three types to declare a variable in JavaScript. So we have the first one is var, and we have var. You want to use because we want to see error. So we have var. We have also let, and we also have const. So we have var, let, and const. So these are three ways you can declare a variable. So we can declare a variable to store, for example, a text, a name. So you can do to declare that. Let's say, for example, to store my name, I can do var and name is equal to, so you put the equal symbol, and then after that you put the string, and you can say, for example, Shabani Muswamba Kachimbisha. All right, so that's how you declare variable. So in JavaScript, the semicolon after variable is not mandatory, but you can always put for some programming languages you must put the semicolon after a variable, after something like a function. But for JavaScript, it doesn't matter. There is no error. So this is how you assign. This is how you declare a variable. So here we have declared a variable and put the name, assign the name there, or assign string to there. So we can also declare a variable, assign something like number that we can say var, let's say age is equal to 23. And you can also say, for example, you can also store like a boolean. Here you say you can store things, for example, you can store text, things like text, any type of data. Let's store, for example, another like a variable. Let's say var is a student, let's say, is equal to true, And we can also declare a variable to store kind of an array, a list of things. We can also store, for example, a var a list is equal to, so kind of a hobbies is equal to. So we say, for example, reading, coding, gaming. So this is how we declare variable. So this is one way. Another way, you can declare also a variable. Say, for example, let city is equal to New York, and then like let's say country city is equal to New York. So this is how we declare a variable. So this variable is a variable it may change. So it may change. This variable may change at any time, but even this one too. Uh, Move this one for now. Even this one. So variable, if you declare a var, you declare a variable using var or using let, so this can change. So I want to show you an example. I can do console.log city. You'll see there you appear. Output should be New York. And if I do again, I take again the same city, I assign again. Now the city, maybe Shaban have changed. Shaban moved from New York to Los Angeles. So now console.log city, now the name now is Los Angeles. So if you save that and resize again, go back to browser, try to reload. Now we see before the city, which was New York, and the city was Los Angeles. But uh, okay, it's actually the same thing. You could do a var. Say var, you declare a city with the var, and then so the city, and you can change it. So if you go back to small screen, you reload again, you still getting the same thing. But if, for example, let's take that back, put that back to let. So if, for example, declare now country, const country is equal to US, and now you console.log country, you console.log country, okay. Const country is equal to US, and console.log country, it will output US. But if you console.log so the console, let's just talk about something that if you declare a variable using const, so that means that is a constant which cannot change. That means that this variable, the value you change to, you assign to this variable, it cannot change. If you change it, it should throw an error. If I save this, for example, and go back, reload, you see the country is equal to US. But if I try, let's say, this will cause an error because this is declared with a constant. So this one you see here. But let me just try to see that error. I can do const. No. Can do country is equal to Canada. So this you want to work. So if you had console.log Canada, let's see, it cannot work, it throw an error, code type error, assignment to constant variable. So if you declare a variable using const, it cannot be changed. But if I change here let, and I change it again, I reload again, so the country there, which was US, and you change it to Canada, is no problem. So that's the difference between var and the let and the variable and the constant. All right. So this is it for declaring variable. So we've got so much you can learn about variable, but we can limit here for now. What next? So next we can see. Next we can also see operators. Operators. So we are going to see operators, which you can use. But before that, I just want to I want to tell you something that you can also try to play around a little bit with the variable. Try to type around, to type a little bit, change different variable. Uh, we can also try. You can also try to print some more stuff. For example, remove this one first to an error. This one. So we can try to play around. For example, do const person. We give the person, the name is John Doe, John. The age is equal to 30. Is student equal to false, and we can try to console.log. So you can access now the object, but we are not talking about this right now. So we are not talking about object right now. We're just talking about the variable. So I want you to play around with this one a little bit as we are going for pause, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. All right. Next, operators. Okay, so operators let you perform operations on values or variables like math, comparison, logic, and more. So let's take an example. For example, use operator for, let's say, for example, we can do let a is equal to 5 and b is equal to 2. So we can do, for example, a, or we can, let's do let c is equal to a plus b. Okay, so if I console.log, first of all, if I console.log a, that should be output is 5, and if I console.log b, the output is b, and now if you do the math here, and we do, okay, console.log c, so the output would it should be 7. So if I save that and go back to our browser, reload, so this is what we get here. So we get 5, we get 5, 2, and 7. So we can also do, if the response is 7, we can also do let d is equal to b minus b. So that is a subtraction, and we can also maybe do let e is equal to a times b, and console.log all of that. So this is how we can use, for example, the symbols. So I'm going to show you the list of operators. If I reload that, so you'll see this is what we get here. This is the output here. So what is the list of operators we have in the JavaScript? So we have arithmetic, which is first of all, we can go to let's do add comment here. So for the arithmetic, we have this. I can also add commenter. So we have plus. We have plus. We have minus, times, divided. So this is what you have in arithmetic. What next? We also have assignment. This we are talking about operators. So we have also assignment. So let's say assignment operators. For assignment operators, so we have things. uh, my editor using AI, so it's a bit tricky. So assignment. Um, okay, let's see. That's too much. Okay, we can keep this one and remove the rest. We don't need the rest. Yes, that's good. Okay, so for assignment, we assignment operators. So we have is equal to, plus equal, minus equal, times equal, divide equal, and also we have plus plus. So plus plus, minus minus, so all of that percentage. Well, these are all these all are assignment operators. You have seen that, you have seen what we are using here. So you are using assignment. We assign a value to a variable using this operator equal to. You say, for example, a, and then we take the value, you assign it. So the way we in JavaScript, in most programming language, what we do is we create the variable, you give the name, and we put the equal operator, and then you assign the variable. So the variable value, it come after the name of the variable. So this is what we have here. So to give you an example of this one, we can do, for example, um, let's, for example, um, here we can do, we want to use one of these, but we have already used them. We already used this one. Oh, this is the one we already. Okay, actually, I'm talking about this. Sorry. Talking about this. So one thing can do is we actually have seen this, the first one, but we can take, for example, take up here. If you see up, I have a, which is value is equal to 5. If I console.log a, can do console.log a, we just want to output a. So if console.log that save, we want to see the value, a is equal to 5. This is this top one. So I can do, I can take maybe t, sorry, a plus plus. So I can do a plus equal to 2. So let's see now the response now. So now we get now 5. So what we did here, we take a is equal to a plus 2. So a was 5, but we just added 2. This is what we have done here. So we can also do minus. So we can do a minus. So that will be a minus 2. So if I remove, so that will means instead to get 7 or 5, we get 3. So we get 3. So we can also do times. So I can do a times, and here, so that means a times 2. So you guess the answer. This is the answer. So this is how we do it. You can do divide. You can do all of this one. So this is actually what this assignment operator can do. So this, you will see much more about this once you start building a small project. So you can play around with this one. So we can also do um, we can also do a maybe minus 2. This is actually the same thing we are doing here, but it's just different way. Yeah. Okay. So this is here is about assignment. Assignment, but we have this comparison operators. So comparison operator, we can do, for example, if A is equal to B. So here we just want to see if A is equal to B. So here we have comparison operators. We have, let's console.log that one first. A is equal to B. That will log console.log to false. So we can, that one will tell you is false because A is not equal to B. I don't want to confuse you here. We can actually clear up everything here. Yeah, we have seen this one. We can clear up everything here, and we can create b is equal to 10. Okay, so if I reload, So we get, first of all, we have this answer here. We can comment this. We don't need this. Let's comment that. So we can only keep this one. So we want to check if the value of A is the same as value of B. So if it's equal to that, so we will get the answer. That the answer will be true or it will be false. So if you reload, that will get false. But if I say if A, this is the same thing, this one and this one are actually the same thing, so I can use this one, but later on you will see about this, so I don't want to confuse you with this one for now. Just keep it this way, okay, because it's too much to hold at the same time. All right, so if I do the same thing, you will see. So you get false. So we also have yes, okay, so I can check if A, so we skip this one, this and this one, so we can talk about this. So we can maybe check, remove this one, or can keep that one, but we can also do console.log if A is not equal to B, and this will be true because A is not equal to B. The value of A is 5 and the B value is equal to 10. So it's not equal to that. The value, the answer is true. We can also check if A is not equal to B. So what do you have here? So we have equal to, and not equal to, and not equal to, greater than, less than, greater equal to, less equal to. This is what we have this sign here. Yes. So what we are seeing here, if A is equal to B, we see that this is not the same value, so the answer is false. A is equal to B, the answer is false. But if A is not equal to B, the answer is true. And here, if A is not equal to B, the answer is true. So if I reload, you'll see that here. Right. Another thing is greater. Is greater and less. So here you can see if A is greater than B, we can see A is not greater than B. The answer is false, isn't it? And B is, if B is great, if A is less than B, the answer is true because A is 5 and B is 10. Another one is if A is greater equal to B, the answer is false because A is less than B. If A is minus equal to B, the answer is true because A is less. So we have two where we are checking here. If it's less, okay. If it's equal, the answer is okay. But let me take another. Let me save that. You can do Control S to reload that. So this is what we get here. This is the answers. Okay, let's try again. Another way. Let's create another value. Let's create C is equal to 15, and then also create let's D is equal to 5. Is equal to 5. See, okay, so let's here we can also do the same thing, but we want to now to check if console.log if A is equal to B is equal to false. So we get the same thing. If A is not equal to B, but we want to check if A is equal to D. A is equal to D. You want to see that is equal to D, which is C. D value is 5, and A also value is 5. So this the answer is true. So if I save that and reload, you see that the last one, the answer is equal to true. Okay. What else can you do? So we can check if okay, can check if a that one we have actually we have seen all of this one. So I was just trying to show you this one, but let's go with C. Console.log C. If C is not equal to D, but we can do like we can combine all of them. If C uh, plus plus D is greater than B. So we take C, this is the C, plus D, so that will be 20, is greater than B. So this is B is 10. So that the answer is true. Why? Because the B is equal to 10. So if you take this C and then you take this D, so that will be 20. So that 20 is greater than 10. So if I reload, here you see the answer is equal to D. So you can combine all of them, both of them, or more. You can do more. You can even add another one here, plus, let's say, let's say times A, times A, yes, times A. So if you reload, yes, you're still getting the same answer. You see? Okay, so this is it. Um, Here, so once you are, if you are checking for operation, comparison operators, so they only return Boolean value. So they will only return false or true. So the job is just to check the value, to compare the value or to compare the data given, and if it's okay to return true or return false. So what next? That's comparison. And then also we have we can clear this. We just comment this. We also got logic, Mm, logic, logic, logical operators. So logical operators, we have and. So this is we can this means like and like this, or and like this. Okay. Let's do. And this one, it means all. And so this one is still the same thing. So this is what we got there. So how does that work also? Okay, let's try. Let's start with the first one. Let's console.log. We can do. We saw here. We did console.log C plus D times A. If is greater than B, we give the answer. But we can also do, we can check check three conditions, and just check one or two conditions or even more, and return the boolean, which will be true or false. So here we can check if A is greater than B and C is greater than D. So that will give the answer. The answer will be true or false. So if you take here, you take A is equal to 5, greater than B, B is equal to 10. The answer is false, isn't it? And we do that. And C, which is here, is 15, is greater than D, which is 5. The answer is false. So we're expecting false. So if I save that and reload, the answer is equal to false. So that's what we do. But we can also change that, do O. We can do O or keep that one. It can help you. We can do O. You can do A is greater than B the answer is false, or this one, or C is greater than D. So C is greater than D. That's true. So that means we'll check this one. We get the answer is false. Okay, but we check if this one we pass. So we return true. So yes. So we check here if A is greater than B. A is greater than B. The answer is false. It's not greater than B. But we check second condition. Maybe if or C is greater than D. And you can see C here greater than D. That's correct. So we return true. So that is it. What next? So that is it. But there is also another way which we use this one. We use um, exclamation dot, which we can do. Let's do. We want to check if we can see we pass parentheses here. So this we don't want this to confuse you. This is the same thing as we check. We check for if. Later on we will see if we start seeing the function, but for now you can just hold it like that. So what we do here is we pass this exclamation point is to check if not. If is not. So if A is greater than B, so we know the answer is equal to no, because if you see A and B, the answer is false. A is equal to 5 and B is equal to 10. If I reload, you see that is equal to true, because A is equal to A is greater than A is not greater than B. So what we do here, if I remove this one and we reload, so automatically we remove that one, the answer here it will be false. But we here what we are checking, we are not checking if the answer is false. No, we are checking if the answer is not true. If the answer is not, this is not true. Yes, we know this is not true, but we are not expecting the answer to be false. We are expecting the answer to be true. So later on, when we start creating some variables, some function, so we will see how we can play around with this, check the variable, check the conditions, all of that. So for now, it's not that complicated. We just take it that way. All right. So next we can move to move to conditionals. Conditionals. So where to check the is actually the same thing we are doing here, but we just have to move to our whole episode. We can discuss more about this. All right. See you in the next episode. All right. So next we want to talk about the conditionals or conditions in JavaScript. So JavaScript conditionals, else if conditionals are used to make decisions in your code. So they allow you to execute different blocks of code based on certain conditions. The most common conditional statements are if, else, if, and else. The if statement is used to execute a block of code if a certain condition is true. And also, you can also use the else statement is used to check another condition if the first one failed. The else statement is used to execute a block of code if all other conditions are failed. So we check the first one, second one, else we do something else. So this is what we have here. Now we can now take what we saw earlier, what was about this conditional condition checking, check if this one return false or true. So I just keep this one. I keep this here to just show you what we are going to do. So we can take an example here. So that we can take an example. Take an example. Say if so we take if A is greater than B, console.log A is a greater than B. Else, if A is less than B, so we console.log A is less than B. Else, A is equal to B. So if I save that and minimize this a little bit, reload, now we get the answer here. So here I can see, okay, A is less than B. Why? Because if you go back top, we can clear this one. Can only this one, clear this one. So we can see that A is equal to 5 and B is equal to 10. So this is the answer. A is less than B. So we can also do, again inside the conditional if statement. So this is what they call if statement in JavaScript. So this is a JavaScript or the rest of the programming language. So it's usually the same thing. So this is what we call statement. So we can check in here inside this condition. We can also check another, or make another statement check also, but we don't want to do that for now. What I want to do, I just want to show you that, okay, we can now do multiple conditions. For example, here, if you can check if A is equal to B, if A is greater than B, or, but you can do, or, no, let's start with and A is less than C. So we return here, but let's, to make things clear, I can remove this one. So we can do if A is greater than B and A is less than C. A is less than C. No, sorry. A is greater than C. So we want to console.log console.log A is the greatest. So we can, if I just do here without doing anything, so we want to get anything, because this, we just check this condition here. We check if A is greater than B. Is not, that's not true. And A is greater than C. That's not true. So because it's not true and we don't have anything to do, so we forgot, we ignore this. So the program just ignored this and passed. But if I do else, A is not the largest number. So if I save that, you see now this is the answer. But if I remove this else statement, so that means we just check if there's nothing, we leave it. So we can also do, or, so if A is greater than B, or A is equal to D, which we know A, the value here is 5 and D value is 5. So if it's equal to, we can console.log a message, console.log A and D are equal. So if I save that, if I reload, you get A and B and D are equal. But you can do else if A is less than B, A is less than B. else we console.log there. So if, for example, if we check the first condition and it's true, so we ignore the rest of the condition. So the program stopped there. So stop executing from there. And another point we haven't talked about is the browser read from top to the bottom. So that means anything from the condition, you check the first one. If first one is false, go to the next one. If next one is false, go to the another one until the program finds something to execute. But in a certain somehow you can just put okay, check the condition. If it's not true, just leave it, forget about everything else, don't do anything. So that means this is what we saw that before that. Okay, if a is equal to b, do something. A is greater than b, or a is equal to d, do something. But we can also check if is not greater than b, so we don't do anything because the answer is not true. The answer is true. Sorry, the answer here is not true. We know a is equal to d. They got the same value. So the answer here is supposed to be true. But if you are checking, you say, okay, if is not true, so we are not going to give the answer. So we just leave the program like that. So we can check here. We can now check. You say, okay, else. This is now the else statement. Where is it again? If else, else if, this one. So else if, so we check the first, if is not true. Instead to stop there, so we pass to the second condition, the second statement to check now if else if is uh, a is less than b and a is equal to d. So a is less than b and a is equal to d, because we know the a is less than b and a and d, they got the same value. So if I save that and we to go back to our browser and reload, you get the same thing. So this is it for the statement. So we can play around a little bit with the statement. So we can also I can also give another example here. It means that clear everything. Here we got here. So start fresh. Okay, start fresh. I can say let's age is equal to 20. So let's add yield. So we can now do something else. So we can do let is add yield is equal to age if age is greater equal to 18. So if is over 18 is return agility, else return minor. So if console.log is adult, it will return adult. And we can also let's go back to the browser. If I reload that, return adult. So if we say, for example, now the age is equal to 10 and the reload, you see the answer. So if you put, for example, say 30, and I reload, you see the answer. So this is how we play around with the conditionals, the statements, all of that. What else can you check? So the same thing is here. This is, I can tell you, this is what you call, this is a, let's see. Okay, so another thing is which we can play around a little bit. We want to use it a little bit, but I don't know if we can stop there. But I think for now we can stop and move to the next thing, because we want to play around. We want to start playing with the DOM, manipulate the HTML. So this will help us understand a little bit. So we can go to loops. Loops, and so with the loop we will also get back to the same thing and discover much here. All right so next, before loops, we can work on we can talk about the array. Say javascript javascript arrays. Okay, array. Okay, javascript array, can add a comment. An array, an array is a special variable which can hold more than one value at the at time at a time. An array can hold many value under single name, and you can access the value by referring an index or also use a loop. So an array can also be used to store different types of value in a single variable. So an array is also special variable which can hold more than one variable. So this is actually the same. So how do you declare a variable, an array? So to declare an array, you use a variable. You see here we need to use a variable. So you can do um there is a many way you can declare a variable. I want to show you first of all. We can do console. We can output log, console.log array. Let's say, for example, let's just console.log number 1 2 3 4. So the output will be 1 2 3 4. We can also do console.log multiple different things. We can put in the array, we can put numbers, can put string, boolean, nil. So we can put almost every type of data type. Yeah. So if we save this, you go to our browser, you see that the first one is just numbers. We get the numbers, and the second one also we got the number plus string plus boolean plus another nil data type. So an array can hold different type of data, different type of values. We can insert. So I want to show you now example. Instead to have this create an array like this directly, you can also define it. You can do const. We can use const cars, or just the same value. Const nums is equal to, you put the same array, and then here I'll just console.log now. So we still get the same thing. If I reload, we get the same thing. So we can also do we can also declare the same thing. Yeah? So we can do const num like that. But we can also do const array is equal to empty, like that. And then here, if you log, is that array is empty. But since you say this is an array, so okay, the browser knows that okay, this is an array, so it's going to print it out as an array. Array, kind of a list. Okay, so array, there's also we can declare, say 1 2 3, or can declare apple. Let's see. So we can declare using the value. If it's string, we can use single quote or double quote, it doesn't matter. So we can do, for example, apple, banana, mango, orange. So we can, if I, let's do this fruits, and is that correct? Fruits, yes, it is. Okay, if I save that and go back, reload, so we get the fruit, banana. So in our previous episode, we saw that if you declare a variable with const, you cannot change it. But if it comes to an array, you can still change the value of this one. For example, const array is equal to empty, like this. If I console.log is empty, but if I do, I can do fruit now and assign now data. Let's say, for example, fruit, I can assign, let's say, apple, and then also assign banana. If we assign also, I don't know what, and then what. So if you console.log fruit again, go back here, you see that before our variable which was empty. The thing we are talking about here is a bit different. But what you see that, first of all, the variable, it was empty. The output was empty. It was empty. Secondly, now you get now the data. So this, you will understand this, but it's not nothing complicated. It's nothing complicated. Once you declare an array is list is empty, so we can still change the data, the value inside. All right. But what I want to do is clear this one. Can clear this. So since we want to talk about loops, we still want to play around a little bit with the array. So we can do array. Let's say, no, not that. You can do fruit again is equal apple to banana. So we want to talk about the length. So we can do console.log index. So we want to talk about the length. So if I console.log here, but we don't want to talk about that first of all. Let's talk about the length. You see the number of item inside of array. So we can do dot length. So this array quote is quote built-in methods. Quote different built-in methods. So you can another place we can also discover match is can go array or JS array. So we get this from Mozilla. Here, yes. So here is a documentation, a resource. I recommend you can take time to play around here to see, read a little bit. So we have array quote sub method, the sub built-in method. So if I do, for example, array, so you see all of these things, all of these methods here. These are built-in method. You can use. You can use it. For example, length to see the number of items. So if I do length, this will show me the number, how many items got in there. If I reload, you see that 3. So if I add more, date, and save that, if you reload, you see now we get 4. Now you got 4. Okay, so this is it. This is about array. So we can also do conditionals. What we saw, we can do the if statement. Let's do if array dot length is greater than 0. So we want to console.log the array is not empty, else the array is empty. So if I reload here, you see the array is not empty. Why? Because we are checking the condition. So if the array is empty, the length is greater than 0, so we return the length is not empty, the array is not empty. You got something in there. But if I remove everything in here, array is now empty. I reload, we got now the array is empty. We can also check here. We can also check if array.length is greater than 10. So we can return, let's say, for example, we can change the message. Okay, the array is more than 10. Or else we can return the array length is fewer. The array has 10 or fewer elements, or we can just say short is less than 10. If I reload that, you see it's less than 10. So if you can also check if it's greater than 2. If you reload, you'll see that the array is greater than, I can put maybe 2 here. So this is the if statement we saw earlier, or which I told you that you are going to discuss that. So we can also check if we can do, sometimes there's nothing in here. There's nothing in here, and you can use the same dot method. Sorry, here the same method, which the same operator which we use to check. We can check this exclamation dot to check. So here we can do array is not empty. Else can do else array. Sorry, let's try again. So you can do if not empty array if there's no length. So that means there's nothing in the array. So we console.log array is empty, else array is not empty. So if I save this, we'll get that one, the top one. Array is empty because we check the length. We check, okay, there's nothing in there. But if I add something like 1 and I reload, array is not empty. So this is it about array. So I've promised you we're going to see this. So this is it. Next, so array, we talk about array. So we also got object. We got object. So we can clear this. We'll get back to this one. So we also got JavaScript object. So we need to talk about a little bit about the JavaScript object, so that you can now move to the next step, which is a loop. Okay, so a JavaScript object, an object is a collection of properties, property and methods. So an object can hold key pairs. So can hold key and values. What I mean is, let's take an example, because here we are talking about an example. So a property is a key value pairs. What I want to create, let's say, let person is equal to, let's person is equal to John, and the age is equal to 30, is a student is equal to false, grades is equal to function. But we don't want to talk about this, so we want to make it easier for us to understand. Okay, so now we see that JavaScript can actually hold here. We can add much value. We can add, for example, city, New York, country, let's say married, hmm, is married is equal to true. We don't want to that. We can add that later, but for now we don't want to add that. Okay, we can add much more stuff. This is why you keep saying about a great function. All right, so this is the value. This is an object there, but is one point also we want to see array. Let's see array of object. So we can do, for example, let's or var. We can do var people. Yes, that one's correct. So people, we can pass John, pass all of this one here. So if we console.log, we just want to play around with the a person, object, and arrays. So if we can console.log people, and also console.log. We can console.log person also, but person we can log the whole thing object, and then also access the value or access the property. So for this one, we got the properties. So properties we got, for example, we got name, age, is student, city, marriage. So these are properties. These are keys, and these are value. So, for example, if you go down here, I can comment this for now. We will get back to that. So if I console.log the whole thing, the person, you will see what we get in the person. So the person, you'll see that they're telling you, JavaScript to tell you this is a prototype is equal to object. You can see here, this is equal to object. And you can see we got keys for the object. If you see the property, we got oh sorry, if you see the property for that object, so we got keys. You got a lot of methods you can use for to check if array got array that object on something. We can check that, but since in this course we just want to make things a bit simple and understand, so I just want to show you that this is the object, and this is how this is the output. We got the age, city, student, and married. Married, or we can say married, or I don't know, something, for example, it's fine. It doesn't matter. So if you want to access one of this property here, you can just do, to access one of that property, you can do dot, and then automatical JavaScript. You can now understand now all the properties in that object. So you can access age. If I save that, reload, now get 30. If I put, for example, married, to return true. If I put, for example, name, which will return name. So this is it. This is for array. So this is how we create an object and access object. So think of this. For example, kind of you create this. This is a person, and once you create now array, it's a person, and then you can now create an array of people. So instead to have that one here, this one, can comment this and then scroll down a little bit. So we just want to console.log people. So if I log that, you'll see this is now an array. JavaScript tell you that, okay, this is an array. Okay, and we got two array of two length, and if you want to access, for example, the number one, is one thing, a little bit thing we need to talk about. Just rewind a little bit about array. We didn't talk about this before, but array, you can access the value of array of or index of an element within an array. So for example, you can do like this, index of 0. So array, to just mention a little bit, I didn't clarify that array, the object or the element in array start from 0, so we count from 0. For example, let me give you a quick example. If is let's sr is equal to 1 2 3 is equal to 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5. So if I want to access 1, I can do console.log. I say access index, access the first element, or print out the first element, of this array. So to print the first element from this array, so I'm not going to print 1. Forget about the rest, you can remove this one. So I'm not going to print 1. If I print 1, it will give me number 2, because the array the index start from 0. So to get 1, I have to print 0 like this. So if you can comment that, we don't need to see that for now. So if I reload, now we get that one. So that means if we could have here things, for example, John, John, Jack. So if I say, okay, I want to see John, so I print 0. I give a number 0 or access index 0, because array index start from 0, not from 1. So if I reload that, you see we get John. But if I try 1, we get John. Yes, we get John. So that's the order of array. That was just a point which we didn't mention before. Sorry. Okay, so if now here we want now to access the first person, we can also add maybe another 2. So if you want to access now John in here, what do you want to do? What do you think you should do? You can access with the index of 0. So if I reload, we get now that first object. So you see now this array, a JavaScript array, or even any programming language, any programming language array list can hold objects or different data types. So in this case here, we have object, we have peoples, we have objects, people represented by object as object in here. So if I reload, let's say I want to access the first one, that's the first one, but we want to access the second one. Here, the second one, we get Jan. And so if I want to access the person, an index, and also get the name, so I can just say the first one, and then also dot, and automatically JavaScript will give you option to select. So I can do dot name, so this will give me the name of the first person. So if I give to for example a 4, that will throw an error. So why is that an error? You can count the element in here. So quote 1 2 3 3 4. So there are 4 elements, but we get an error. Why? Because array start with the index of 0. So that means the 4 doesn't exist in here. But if I try 3, we will get Sarah, which could be number 4. So that's how array works. Okay. Next,
All right.
so JavaScript loops. Loops are used to execute a block of code repeatedly until a specified condition is met. So we got a for loop, we got while loop, do while loop, for in loop, for off loop, for each loop. So we got many of them. So we will see if we can talk about all of them for now. All right. So um, let's start with the for loop. So for loop, run a block of code a specific number of times. So for example, let's say for loops. So we can do let's see, we can do let I is equal to 0. So we declare a variable the way we usually we declare a variable. Let I is equal to 0. So that just doesn't matter. It can be anything. Can declare just anything. It doesn't matter. So and then we check if I, this is the condition again, I is less than 10. So we take the I plus plus. We saw about a symbol about operators. So I is equal to I plus plus. So I will be plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 9, plus until it reach a certain number. So if console.log, we want to see console.log, if I reload, so we check if I is less than 10. So I is equal plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1 until reach 9. So when we reach 9, it stop. So this is about for loop. So we can explore the same thing. Since we have seen the loop, we have seen the array, so we can do var. Let's say users is equal to, we can give a list of users, list of users. Okay, so these are users. We get user gist. So we say okay, let I is equal to 0. We declare the I, and then we say now if I is less than user.length. So we check if the user length, we get the user length, we check if I is less, because we know I is 0. So we check if the user I is equal to 1, I is equal to 2, I is equal to 3. But this will stop at 2. I think I can guess that. And we do I plus plus. So we can now console.log user. Since we got users is an array, and we have seen we can access an index of array, we can access an element or value of array using index. So this way we are using now index. We're using now 0, or we are using I as index, because if you take index, if I is equal to 0, so we put 0 here, so we get the first element. And if I is equal to 2, you put is equal to 1, you put 1 here, you get the second element. If I is equal to 3, if I is equal to 3, you put there, you also get the answer. But let me just save that and reload. So you see that we can get John, Jan, and Jimmy. But once it reach where the I stop, where I is now is not less than the number of item in array, so the execution just stop. So this is for loop. So we will learn much more about this. So in JavaScript, you'll be using this a lot. So for example, you can check the number of users, how many users, and check access users. So we can also do combination for what you have seen so far. So we can check if user.length is greater than 0. So we can do this one. Let's see. So if user.length is greater than 0, we can check. But we can also do the same thing, and we can also check this way. If it's not, no, this is correct. The one was there, it was correct. Okay, so if there's no equal, if it's greater than 0, we need to access. Else, we can also put there's no user. There are no users found. So if I save that and reload, we get the same thing. And if I remove everything from the array, save that, reload, okay, now there is no user. So imagine that we can now get the number of items. This could be users, could be anything, and then we just make a request. We just check if the data is there. We do something. So we can also do. We can. I want to show you another thing, but we also checking the time. So we don't have to get much examples because of the time. We got much to do. We can. That was a for loop. This is for loop. Let's do while loop. Do while loop. While loop. Okay, for while loop. So while loop run as long as the condition continues. So this means that anytime if the condition is there, so just keep if the condition is still on, is true, this can keep running, print. So you can print even billion of times. So you can see, for example, here var I is equal to 0. So this one we declared outside of the loop. I is equal to 0, and then now we take while take I. If I is less than array dot length, this is our array. If it's equal to is less than array dot length, but we can also specify. Let's say, for example, is less than 3. If you don't want to confuse you, is less than 3. So we can print something. For example, print user and print, for example, user, and then we take our user array of users and then access user by index. But we don't want to do that. What I want to do is just to show you that we can print I console.log I, so we just see the index of data. But after, we must do count array. You must increase the I. So for example, here we are increasing plus. So that means add one, add. So if I save and I reload that, we get now user 0, user 1, user 2. If I put here 100, so you're still going to see the same thing. It's going to print like 100 times. When we reach now 99, so we just stop, because we were checking if it's less than 100. But we don't want to check if it's greater than 100, because it will freeze the computer. The computer will freeze because it just keep printing. So the browser will crash. All right. That is for while loop. We will do much example with that. For now, we don't want to spend much time there because we got much. Because we got much. So we also have do while loop. So for do while loop, which is up here, so we have seen while for loop, while loop, and then we have do while loop. So for do while loop, runs at least once, then check the condition. The other one is check the condition before run. You see this one is check the condition before run, but this one for do while loop will actually check condition at least once. So you can do and then console.log. So first of all, you can console.log something, do something, run the a portion of code, and then check the condition. This is what you see here. So for example, console.log user dot the first user, which is the index 0 dot name, and then do count plus plus, which one you do I plus plus, and then start now check, now come back to check. So if I reload that, you see that we check console.log John, Jan, Jim, and then after we can now stop. So we can save time to go to the next one for in loop. So we have also for in loop. I can delete this one. Sorry, I remove this one. For in loop. Okay, for in loop. For we got for loop and for in loop, so we can do maybe one but we can do the first one. We can, yes, let's do the first one. So for in loop is used much to loop through an object. So what we can do is we can declare, let's user is equal to John, and John age 25, email, you pass email. So for in loop, we use it to just loop the through the keys of the user, of the keys of an object or property. So we can do for let key. So we take the key, which is this one, key in user. So this is the user, and then now we can now console.log key and then user.key. So this is what will happen here. So we can if I save that, so it will just lock the names here. So you lock the John, you lock the age, you lock if I reload that, this is what you get. You get name, John, age, this one. So this is what you get here. John, email. Okay. So this is it for in loop. So this you use to loop. So if you get you get an object, so you use that for in loop to loop through an object. So you got match. You can play around with this one, do some combination. It's good. Next, you can get rid of this. Next, we got for I think we can just go to for loop. We can go to for loop. For loop, sorry, for each loop. For each loop. Okay, for each loop, we don't have to do the condition as the other one before. So for each loop, for each loop, so you can just take an object, because this is actually a built-in method for JavaScript array. So I can take this array, that array. So if you just do dot, you'll see the method coming here. You see much of them that we can do for each. So if you take the for each, so the for each, you take a function. So you can take a function, and then the function now you take a parameter which you can now call anything. Let's call it a user, and this following one. So this is the function. We haven't seen the function. We are going to see it soon. So don't worry about this. Just take it as where it is. So I can console.log user dot name that. So this, we don't have to check any condition. This is a built-in method. So we just take an array and then we loop through automatical check for the data, check for items and print them. So if I save that and reload, you see, you are still going to see the same user name, John, age 25, name, Jan, age. So this is a for loop. So it's very easy. So it's not that complicated. So there is also another method associated with the array, which we didn't see. We got method like map. We can do map. We got map, so it can do kind of the same thing. Yeah? So if you reload, you can see just you take the name, you take the array, and then map and print the key. So we haven't seen this one. We can talk about this later. They are not complicated, but this we are seeing is actually the fundamentals of JavaScript. That's actually the basics, which can help you build up. All right. Now I think we can see. We can see maybe function, so that, all right, JavaScript function. Function is a block of code designed to perform a particular task. A function is executed when something invokes invokes or call it. The other way you can say call it. A function can accept parameters or arguments, and they can return a value. A function is defined with the function key followed by a name, um, followed by partners. The code to be executed by the function is placed inside the curly braces. Let's just take an example of a function. So we can create a function. Let's say, for example, function. There's many ways you can actually create a function, but we want to see a common way. Function. Let's say greeting or greet. So this function, anytime you call it, it will just return hello world. So this is how you invoke the function, or call it. This is how we call the function. Call the function or invoke the function. So once you call this function, it will just output hello world. So if I save this and I reload, you get hello world. So the function, you can also call it inside, for example, inside a while loop, inside a for loop. So it doesn't matter. So you can also, this function can also take name, set name, and then we can say hello world, and here plus name, like this. So we haven't talked about adding, putting name, or putting a string plus variable together, but we will talk about that later. We don't, this video is already getting long, so we don't want to get it that long. Right. So if we call down the function here, and but we can, first of all, if you call it here, call it pass, for example, Shaban, Musamba. So if you save that and go back, reload, you hello world. So we can say hello Shaban, If I reload that, you see hello Shaban. So anytime, so if you can call it hello Shaban, call again hello crit, sorry, crit some color. If you reload hello Shaban, hello color, create hello Mwanza. If you reload hello, so that's the function. That's what function does. So we can also say we can also give a default value. If there's nothing, we just return hello world. So inside this function, we can do things. For example, if we can check if the name is not empty. If there is name, sorry, we can check if name. If name, we can return hello world plus name. Else hello world plus name. So we return hello world plus name. Else we hello plus name. Else we just return hello world. So this is a function can do what the function can do. So return we pass here, but the last one greet, we don't pass anything. So if I reload it, now you see just pass hello world. So the function can do many things. The function can actually do many things. We will get back to the function. We've got much to do, but we can. So we can also do something. For example, this one way. We can also declare a function. You can also do, for example, function. Say add. Add. So we get, for example, A and B. So this function will just return A plus B. So here we can do, for example, let's do result is equal to A is equal to add function. So we call that function to just perform something, to perform this one. So do 5 and then you pass 10. So the result will be 15 because there, this is that function is doing. So just return 15. So we can do so many things here. We can do so many things here. So we can do, for example, we can do, for example, if you take this number, say times times 100, and then you just return. So if you reload, you see, it's just going to do plus this and then times 100, or to calculate. So this is what the function can do. So you'll find much more things to do with the function. Okay, so we can. I think this is it for now. This is the basics for the JavaScript. This is the basics. The rest of the things you will discover them once you start building. So let's go. All right. So we want to now to work on DOM manipulation. So we got just a little bit of style here, and here we got also a title and just div with an ID. So DOM element. What is DOM? So DOM is a tree like a structure that represents the content of a web page. So with JavaScript, you can use the DOM to access the HTML element, change the content change the content or style, add or remove element, respond to user interactions. So you can you can use the DOM to when a user click on a button, maybe you can add element, remove, show something, validate the form, and sorry, submit the form. So you can do so much with the DOM. So accessing element in DOM. So there is several way to select an element. So if you go to Mozilla, say JS DOM like this, you go to Mozilla. So here is a document object model, and so you can actually access any document, sorry, any element, or select any element from a web page, HTML, and set something, add text, remove text, add color, add style. So that's the job. That's the job for the DOM. Okay, DOM and JavaScript. So you got here, we got so much to do. So we are not going to spend time here. We just want to manipulate a little bit, since we have already spent much time. So what we want to do here is we want to use our functions. So what you have learned so far, so to manipulate the data a little bit. So what I can do is we want to, if first of all, let's save this and go to our browser. This is the browser. Reload to see what we get in here. This is what we have. So what we want to do, we want to manipulate this. Right now, there's nothing happening. If you reload, nothing is happening. So we got buttons, but nothing is working here. So we want to add JavaScript. So to start now to interact with the user, if user click increase, so we want to have maybe at +1, +1, +1. You can reset or decrease. So this is what we want to do in this application. So to achieve that, here, since we got buttons ready and we got this one, so we want to create this function. We want to create this function. So we can create, first of all, we can create count. I can do let's count is equal to 0, and I can create now. Let's create now the function we saw first. Update display like this. Sorry, update display like this. So what we want to do in here, so we want to do document. So we want to access document dot get element by ID, which is this element, this div here. So we want to get by ID. So once we get it, so we just pass we pass this one, we pass the value here. So this is the function. So remember we talk about call the function. So this is how we want to do it here. So on click, so we just call the display update the value. So you can update the value. So we also want to create another function. So you can create function. Let's say, for example, increase the value. So we just take the count. We saw how we can do the plus to add the number. So this will add 1 to the count. Right now is 0. So after add, we just call the update display update. You call this function, and this function will just call take the document. We do document by ID. Take that element, this one, the element, and then assign another value there. And we can also do decrease. So for decrease, we do now minus, and then we do reset. So for reset, we just take the count to 0. So we will see the document. I just want to show you this one, and we will see the about the document later. So if you save this, we go back here. It's the account, and if you reload it, I hope it will work. So increase. Now just going to work to add 111. You can reset to 0, add 111, minus minus. So this is the whole thing we are doing here. So if you go back to Mozilla here, we can learn much. You can actually play around with this, with JavaScript and HTML. So for example, here I see run this function when the document is loaded. So you can call the access window. So if you go back, let's take that. So we want to see the value of window. We want to see window. We don't want to do that. Escape. Come on. Alt R. Yes. So we can console.log, console.log window. You will see that we got so much in Windows. So this is not part of our course. Our course is just to play around a little bit with the JavaScript. So we want to see if you reload. This is window. So you see that window, it got so much in here to do. So window got so much here to do. So you can spend a little bit of time playing with the window. So you can, for example, here, if you can copy this example, copy that, and they just come press this one here. If I expand this, so we can see that. So window.load. So once your window has loaded completely, so that means once when you come to a web page, you load it, you reload this web page. Once it's loaded, so we want to do something. So that is what is happening here. So window.load. So load this is a function. So once it's loaded, so we can heading 1, yeah, h1, take h1, set the big, you set the title, but we don't have that head one. You set the title and then append the child. So this, we got so much to play. So JavaScript, if you want to take the full course, like to know everything, it can take hours to complete the full course. So we don't want to do that. We just want to show you the basics. So the rest you can play around with it. So if you take here h1, and if I go back and I reload, you'll see what will happen. Now we got here a big one. So this, if you see on our HTML, this is not there, but we create a document. We do DOM, a document dot create. So we can create a document with JavaScript. What do you want to create? You want to create a heading 1 or h1, and then you take the heading 1. We create now. We take heading 1 is equal to, we create another DOM, another text, node text, which is that one, and append this and append. So this is it. So they got so much, so much. I can tell you. And also, other thing is, this is so much fun. JavaScript is so much fun. So you can play around with it. Play around. Just take your time to go around, play with this one. You can increase, you can decrease, you can add as much as you can. So thank you again for watching. My name is Shaban Muswamba. So we will have fun with JavaScript. We can also create another course, yes, of course, or a project about JavaScript plus HTML and CSS. So how you can play around with the document. So this will help us to understand. So we can't just jump into frameworks and start building things with frameworks. So we have to understand the basics of JavaScript. All right, so this is so much fun. My name is Shaban Mswamba. Make sure to like the video and please subscribe to SM Software, and see you in the next video.